While the rest of the world was popping champagne to welcome 2026, a coded message was reportedly transmitted from the cold, fog-bound estate of Sandringham directly to Montecito. It froze the blood in Prince Harry's veins. This wasn't a Happy New Year card from a doting relative. It was a surrender agreement. Princess Anne, the unrelenting Iron General of the House of Windsor, has finally revealed the brutal truth that Harry has been hiding from. His American dream is legally dead. The atmosphere turned bone-chilling as Harry stared at the secret repatriation roadmap drafted behind the stone walls of Gatcombe Park, a lifeline that offers him a way back to England, but only if he returns alone. The shock was paralyzing, a realization that the royal shield had been replaced by a clinical, legal guillotine. He is no longer a prince in exile. He is a man walking into a visa trap with only 90 days to decide. Yet, as terrifying as this ultimatum is, it is merely the tip of the iceberg, because the real smoking gun, the forensic evidence of a catastrophic collapse, lies buried within the chaotic and crumbling ledgers of the Archewell Foundation. To truly understand why Princess Anne felt compelled to draft this ruthless roadmap, we must look at the smoking gun that triggered the crisis: the Archewell tax returns. In the world of high-stakes philanthropy, numbers do not know how to lie, and the figures leaking from Archewell tell a story of a catastrophic freefall that no amount of Hollywood spin can fix. When the foundation launched, it promised to be a billion-dollar empire of compassion, yet the official filings reveal a stunning collapse. In 2021, the foundation raised a staggering $13 million. By 2022, that number had plummeted to just $2 million. This isn't a mere dip, it is a total financial evaporation. Even worse, records show the foundation was operating at a loss exceeding $674,000. How does a global charity run by the most famous couple on Earth lose money faster than it can raise it? The air in Montecito has grown thick with a suffocating sense of suspicion. As forensic experts peel back the layers, the narrative shifts from mere incompetence to something far more sinister. The public is left wondering, was donor money used to subsidize private jets, designer wardrobes, and relentless PR campaigns? In the eyes of the law, that isn't overhead. It is potential fraud. This financial rot has shattered the illusion of the Sussex brand, leaving Harry standing atop a crumbling pedestal of red ink. But as the money vanishes, a much darker shadow is looming over the horizon. Because this financial disaster isn't just a business failure. It is the catalyst for a terrifying legal nightmare that threatens to strip Harry of his very right to stay on American soil. This financial wreckage has ignited a fuse that leads directly to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and the trap is about to snap shut. Harry is facing a terrifying awakening. In the eyes of American immigration law, he is not a protected royal, but a mere visa holder subject to the ruthless good moral character clause. As the California Attorney General's probe intensifies, a lethal legal concept known as moral turpitude has entered the room. If Harry, as a responsible director of Archewell, is implicated in financial mismanagement or fraudulent solicitation, his visa isn't just at risk. It becomes void. The walls are closing in, and the panic is palpable. He stands at a horrific crossroads. If he signs the 2025 tax returns to save the foundation, he may be signing a confession of legal liability for every missing cent. If he refuses, he admits the ship is sinking. The sense of stalemate is agonizing. There are no diplomatic backdoors, no royal pardons, and no exceptions for a prince who finds himself on the wrong side of an IRS audit. Harry is staring down the barrel of a deportation hearing, realizing that his title means nothing to a federal officer with a revocation stamp. He is a man caught in a minefield where every step toward his wife's business empire is a step toward exile. The pressure has reached a breaking point, forcing him into a desperate, ghostly retreat. A strategic separation so profound that the united front they spent years building has finally shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces. The high-octane drama of red carpets and royal proclamations has faded into a haunting, hollow silence. In the quiet coastal town of Carpinteria, locals have reported a sight that evokes a profound sense of pity. A solitary figure pacing the shoreline at the crack of dawn, head bowed against the biting sea wind. This is Prince Harry, not as a global icon but as a ghost of his former self. With his cap pulled low and his shoulders hunched under the weight of a world he no longer controls, he looks less like a royal and more like a man drowning in the consequences of his own choices. The famous claw grip of his wife's hand is notably absent. Instead, he retreats for weeks at a time to a secluded bunker in Ojai, desperate for a silence that his mansion can no longer provide. The air around him is thick with an agonizing melancholy. Every footprint in the sand seems to mark the distance between who he was and what he has become. A man building a legal firewall against the very life he once fought to create. By reportedly refusing to sign off on the latest fiscal accounts, Harry isn't just protecting his visa. He is mentally packing his bags, mourning a dream that has soured into a nightmare. This solitary exile is the physical manifestation of a marriage that has moved from a united front to a strategic separation. But as Harry wanders the gray beaches of California in somber isolation, 5,000 miles away, a far more dangerous storm is gathering. One led by a woman who doesn't believe in pity, only in the brutal preservation of the crown. While Harry wandered the desolate beaches of California, a far more clinical and lethal power play was unfolding 5,000 miles away within the frost-covered walls of Sandringham House. This was no mere family gathering. It was a high-stakes war council presided over by the Princess Royal, a woman who embodies the iron discipline of a bygone era. Princess Anne did not arrive with platitudes or PR spin. Instead, she reportedly placed a thick, mahogany-colored dossier titled Archewell Risk Assessment on the table before King Charles, her gaze as steady as a marksman's. With the calculated precision of a grandmaster playing 4D chess, she dismantled the Sussex illusion, arguing with brutal clarity that the crown could no longer afford to be a human shield for a brand sinking in a sea of American financial delinquency. There is an undeniable, visceral sense of admiration for Anne's unwavering steel. In a world of soft diplomacy, she chose the path of the surgeon, cutting away the infection to save the institution. She made it clear to the king that using British taxpayer money or diplomatic capital to smooth over a foreign fraud investigation was a line that must never be crossed. This was tough love at its most absolute. Her secret blueprint, the 2026 repatriation roadmap, is not a suggestion, it is a clinical ultimatum. It offers Harry a lifeline, but it is one stripped of all sentimentality. The condition is non-negotiable. Harry may return to the royal fold, but he must return alone, leaving the toxic debris of his Hollywood entanglements and his marriage behind. Anne's resolve is a masterclass in institutional survival, prioritizing the centuries-old throne over the short-term feelings of a wayward son. She has effectively cornered Harry, forcing him to choose between a crumbling American mirage and the cold, hard sanctuary of his birthright. By barring the door to the Sussex brand, she is forcing Harry to wake up from his California fever dream. The order for containment has been issued, and the palace gates have been locked to anything but the prodigal son himself. But as Anne's iron trap snaps shut in England, the tension in Montecito has reached a violent boiling point, leading to a confrontation so explosive it would finally shatter the last remaining pillars of Harry's private life. The glittering halo of Hollywood that once shielded the Sussexes has not just dimmed, it has been unceremoniously unplugged, leaving them in a cold, unforgiving darkness. There's a delicious, biting irony in watching the very A-listers who once clamored for an invitation to the wedding of the century, now scurrying for the exits like rats fleeing a gilded shipwreck. Where is Oprah Winfrey now? Where are the Clooneys and the high society dinners? Gone, evaporated like a cheap perfume in a strong wind. In Tinseltown, loyalty is a currency that devalues the moment a forensic audit enters the room. The elite of Montecito have a sixth sense for legal toxicity, and right now, Harry and Meghan are radioactive. It turns out that in Hollywood, proximity is liability, and no studio executive is willing to risk an IRS eyebrow raise just to maintain a friendship with a delinquent charity. The satire reaches its peak when we look at Meghan's latest venture, American Riviera Orchard. It was supposed to be the next Martha Stewart empire, a sanctuary of organic jams and lifestyle luxury. Instead, it has become a masterclass in branding hubris. The industry's reaction has been a collective, mocking sneer as the hunt for a CEO turns into a desperate search for anyone willing to captain a vessel that is already underwater. The boardrooms of Los Angeles are echoing with the same brutal question: who would stake their career on a brand that is currently a target for the Attorney General? The Sussex sparkle has been replaced by a delinquency notice, and the silence from their former best friends is loud enough to shatter glass. Meghan stands alone on her crumbling orchard, clutching a jar of jam that no one wants to buy, while Harry realizes that their billion-dollar brand was nothing more than a house of cards built on borrowed prestige. They traded the ancient, solid rock of the monarchy for the shifting sands of celebrity, only to find that celebrity has no loyalty to the fallen. This total social excommunication isn't just a setback. It is a humiliating public execution of their influence. But as the A-list gates slam shut and the cameras stop flashing, Harry is left staring at a much darker reality, one where the lack of a Hollywood friend is the least of his worries, as the ironclad legal trap laid by his own aunt begins to tighten its grip around his throat. As the fog rolls in over the California coast, Prince Harry sits in the hollow silence of his Ojai bunker, staring at a calendar where the month of March is circled like a ticking time bomb. This is the endgame. Princess Anne's roadmap lies before him, a painful lifeline that demands the ultimate sacrifice of his pride and his marriage in exchange for his soul. There is a profound, somber lesson here. Fame can be bought, but integrity is earned in the shadows of duty. While Anne's ultimatum feels brutal, it is perhaps the only tough love capable of shattering his Hollywood delusion. The air is thick with anticipation as we wait to see if the prince will sink with his ship or finally swim toward the shore of redemption. The clock is ticking. The choice is his. Thank you for watching. The endgame has begun and the choice is now in Harry's hands. What is your verdict? Is he a guilty participant or a victim of his own dream? Type your answer along with your city and country in the comments below. If you want to stay updated on every twist in this royal saga, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We'll be right here when the next chapter unfolds. See you in the next video.